On the last episode of the Jimquisition, a mistake was made, an error was made, and I'd like to address that now. On that episode, we said that the Witness cost $20, when in fact it costs $40. Now, I'm sure many of you would say that the Witness should cost $20, but that was the opposite of the point I was trying to make. So, better research made in future. In an unrelated note, my personal assistant Chip here, who I'd like to introduce you to, has been promoted today to the position of head researcher. So, while I take full responsibility for everything that happened on the last episode, really that falls on the research department, doesn't it, Chip? Shut up, Chip! As I said, I'm going to take full accountability for this rookie schoolboy idiot's error, and this will be fixed with staff discipline and butt education. Roll the fucking tape. Microsoft wants a walled garden, and in that garden it hopes to trap PC gaming itself. That seems to be the worrying endpoint scenario for the company's latest attempt to monetize PC games, the Universal Windows platform. Aiming to sell games such as Rise of the Tomb Raider as Universal Windows apps, Microsoft hopes to make its proprietary storefront the premier way in which computer games are bought and sold. And boy, does that sound like a terrible fucking idea. For a start, let's not beat around the bush. Microsoft is fucking shit at unifying the PC gaming experience. It may have delivered the operating system with Windows, but it sure as sodomy can't do much else competently. We of course all remember Games for Windows Live, the attempt to get PC gamers on the paid subscription bandwagon that was so spectacularly successful, it was quietly and embarrassingly phased out due to nobody liking it. And why would anybody? It was an unnecessary and restrictive barrier on a platform where barriers and restrictions are considered pure toxic waste. It's alarming that a company so hungry for control of the PC market seems to so consistently misjudge what the customers in that market like, but that's Microsoft for you. And with Windows 10, the corporation wants to have another shit-fisted crack at the whip. So we have the Universal Windows platform, Microsoft's platform that it's using to strong-arm game developers into shackling themselves to its whims. As Epic's Tim Sweeney wrote in an now famous Guardian editorial, UWP offers PC-specific features that games can only access if they're distributed via UWP. In order to get the most out of Windows 10 as a platform, a game will need to be sold as a Universal Windows app. It's Microsoft's way of unfairly leveraging its status as a platform holder to gain an advantage over platforms like Steam, GOG, and Origin. According to Sweeney, they are working to turn today's open PC ecosystem into a closed, Microsoft-controlled distribution and commerce monopoly, over time, in a series of steps of which we're seeing the very first. One of the great benefits of PC gaming has, of course, been its openness and its freedom. Gamers get a choice of ways to buy games, Steam, GOG, itch.io, directly from the developers themselves even. There's almost limitless backwards compatibility, even if some of the truly old games require a heck of a lot of work to get running on the latest machines. And, of course, there's the modding scene, as customers get to tweak, improve, or just humorously transform their games with all sorts of UI overhauls, character replacements, and nudity, always nudity. All of this is under threat if Microsoft's dream of a walled garden comes to fruition. MS wants to be for Windows what Apple is to iOS, and that level of control would be absolute poison. Currently, Universal Windows apps are subject to restrictions that murder everything advantageous about PC gaming. As Durante writes in an excellent breakdown of UWP's failings, Universal apps such as Rise of the Tomb Raider are inferior compared to their traditional executable counterparts. They lack a true full-screen mode which can affect game performance. They're incompatible with various software PC gamers use, such as Fraps or Mumble, and they're locked down tight in ways that make modders' jobs a lot harder. Don't expect a within 24 hours quick fix of broken games like Tales of Zestria like you can on Steam, not in a world where games act just like the apps on your iPhone, just icons you click on to get the exact content deemed sufficient, all under Microsoft's watchful Sauron-like eye. The fact Universal Windows apps are so shit speaks volumes of the contempt Microsoft has for the PC market. If it really wanted to compete and make a worthwhile product, the UWP wouldn't offer inferior restricted versions of games you can better enjoy elsewhere. Instead, the company is competing on the basis that it holds the keys to Windows 10's courtyard, not on the basis of UWP actually being something people want. Who needs to make a good customer customer-friendly platform when you can effectively strangle your competition. And it's not like Microsoft doesn't have a history of relying on brute force over quality. The company has a documented history of anti-competitive behaviour, and that's just one of the many reasons why it can't be allowed to exert unchallenged dominion over the PC space. The worst part is that Microsoft's trying to turn over the table while everybody's eating at it. At least Apple exerted totalitarian control over iOS from the start. Customers know what they're getting into with an Apple product from the outset. Mutating Windows from a sprawling jungle to a walled garden is not only a ridiculous gargantuan task, it's going to upset all the wildlife that has thrived there for decades. It's so incomprehensibly fucking stupid of Microsoft to attempt this. Here's a heads up for you, Microsoft. Customers don't tend to like it when you alter the deal. You're not Darth Vader, who's basically the only fucker who can get away with that. This is not to say that the Universal Windows platform is itself inherently a bad idea at its core. I agree with Sweeney when he says Microsoft absolutely has a right to have its own storefront. Fuck, if Ubisoft can have one, any 2-bit wanker should have one. But in its current iteration, the UWP is simply not ready for market. It's a half-baked thing that cannot compete with what the likes of Steam and GOG offer. It's not even ready as an also-ran storefront, let alone the gatekeeper of PC gaming overall. And ultimately, it's offering explicitly what PC game players do not want. Locked down files that cannot be altered, restrictions on where to access the games, what software works with them, how the games bloody well perform. Ultimately, that's not going to work. It's not going to work because Microsoft doesn't understand the platform it's always trying to control, and failing is what it does best in this scenario. Good luck trying to fence in a jungle, and good luck telling PC gamers how to enjoy their games, because that shit just won't fly. I just hope MS doesn't damage too many games before it comes to the same conclusion it came to with games for Windows Live, that its ideas are total cocking bollocks. And there you have it. Another glorious bit of wisdom from yours truly, Jim Sterling. And my associate, Chip. Hi. Shut up, Chip! Hopefully Microsoft learns its lesson and we don't get the walled garden on Windows. It would certainly be a horrible, horrible, horrible thing to happen. So just sit tight, put your hands together, pray to God that it never comes through. And while you're praying to God, you could, of course, thank God for me. Won't that be lovely? Shut up, Chip!